if you just show up. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Spill the Beans. I'm in downtown Charleston, South Carolina, in the historic district, looking at the market, going into Clerks to go sit down with a couple of rockstar brothers, Zach and John Campbell, who have only been in the business for, I don't know, 12, 18, 24 months, something along those lines, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in wholesaling real estate in the hot market. So just kind of diving all in, focusing on what they're really good at, and I'm excited to sit down and kind of learn some marketing strategies on how they're extracting deals in such a hot market, and dive into what they're looking to do with that money into the multifamily side of things. So let's go check them out. Let's go sit down with Zach and John, talk some shop. We've got the Campbell brothers. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. So, I mean, you guys are from Charleston, so we're downtown, weather's finally breaking, having some fun, having some coffee, and you guys got some stuff going on. So tell me a little bit about, let's give everybody a little bit of a background on, you know, just kind of, I know you guys went to school at the Citadel, and you guys have been doing some wholesaling and real estate stuff over the past few years, young guys. Tell me about, like, what brought you into real estate, what have you got going on right now, and then let's talk about where you're going.
Yeah. Go first, you're older.
Well, you started it really, so.
Yeah, so I'm 23, went to Citadel, did 2 years, left for an Army deployment, joined the military while I was at college as well, got home from deployment, and near the end of it, I got extended because of COVID, and those last 3 months, I was just sitting at base in Kuwait, waiting to come home, and it's like, yeah, let me just jump into, I was like, I don't want to go back to college. I knew people in real estate, and I was like, you know, let me call some people that I know doing real estate and ask if they're mentoring. And called up my buddy, asked if he was mentoring, so came home, said screw school, went full in on real estate, invested in a mentor, and just jumped right into wholesaling.
And so that was, what, 2 years ago?
Year and a half, not even.
And so you guys were not doing real estate before a year and a half ago?
No, so our parents were like flipping.
Yeah, your dad does.
Yeah, so they've been flipping since like 2016, like just figuring it out, but just going through the motion, not full time.
What's your dad's background?
He was a retired police officer.
Okay,
so
my dad's a retired police officer.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so they were just going through the motion. I was just like, let's figure this out as a family and do this full time. Yeah. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, so I started school, finished it, got my engineering degree. I was doing some pretty big projects around here, just geotechnical engineering, which is like soils and stuff like that. And then like people started complaining about
making sure
like,
the soil is compactable and making sure that you can build shit on top of it. It's not gonna all crumble, right?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much making sure the groundwork's good because that's where it starts. And then the structure can actually go, which it was mainly apartments, big warehouses, stuff like that in like the Goose Creek area and stuff.
All commercial real estate though? All
commercial real estate, yeah. And then basically he got into real estate and he was like starting to get successful, and he was like, this is what we should be doing. And just from like
just 18 months ago.
Yeah, so
15, something like that.
Yeah.
Not even.
I quit my job and I'm helping him now, so.
I love it, dude. And then, like, I mean, we all met. I mean, obviously we met before because we had seen each other around some of the real estate conferences and stuff. And then we got to hang out, down in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys ended up joining Legacy Family as well, right? So tell me about, what does your business look like right now? So you guys are doing a lot of wholesaling now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right now we're running just marketing and acquisitions.
Yeah.
We acquire some properties that we keep and flip in New Jersey. We have a very strict criteria for flipping just because the turnaround time with material and everything like that doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah.
So if we're not making 6 figures on the flip, we're not doing it. And we got to be in and out in less than a month back on the market. Otherwise, we're just going to wholesale because there's so many other investors, especially in Charleston. And it's like, why would I hold something for 6 months when I could turn and burn in less than 30 days?
Yep.
So that's what we've been doing. I do all the front end of the stuff right now for acquisitions, and he's doing all the dispo stuff. So I just acquire the properties. We got TV commercials running, working on it. We had cold calling going and some direct mail, and we let off on the cold calling, but we're about to pick that back up now. We have some bigger assignments closing, and it was just knowledge on my part. I didn't know what I was really doing on running a team and training people, but now I have that knowledge and experience, so I can actually guide my team, and we're really building out that acquisitions part to really just start dominating.
I want to hit on marketing and I want to hit on team building, both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, super hot market, everybody's flipping real estate, everybody wants to be involved in real estate. What are you doing to find deals? So you said you actually stopped doing outbound calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you're doing radio ads or TV commercials?
We have TV commercials in Charleston.
Is that working?
Yeah.
Really?
I got a $125,000 assignment on a single family home downtown.
And you're tracking it through what they're calling it a phone number that you can use just for
I use smartphone is the system we use. And then right now we're in Podio on assigned force, but I'm transferring out of that into Left Main as our new CRM.
Dude, I had one of the guys in the mastermind's like, hey, I really want to do TV commercials. I was like, it's just hard to quantify, but and I don't know if it's going to work, right? But he's pursuing it. It's like his first month doing it right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, dude, tell me how it goes, you know?
Yeah,
I got to connect with you guys, though.
Yeah, I had like 2 or 3 deals that came in with commercial stuff. Not the best.
What are the ads that you're running? What are you saying on there?
It just basically says, hi, this is Zach, we Unified House Buyers. We buy houses cash, any price range, apartments, storage units. The storage units confuses a lot of people, though. I get calls like just for a full storage unit. Hey, you want to buy this? And I'm like, nah. I was like, I might look into it. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $100. You never know what's in there.
Everything that's in the storage unit.
Yeah, it comes with it. So, but yeah, I haven't really had too much success on the commercial side, but single family for sure. It's not. There's not a whole lot of quantity, but there's a lot of quality in those.
Interesting.
Probate. The big thing a lot of people need to understand with TV too is the return, like the time frame for the ROI. You know,
Takes a while.
Yeah, I mean, we're 6 months now since we started, and I've been same deals from back then, just going through probate, people in jail, all the death. It just builds up a lot of time. But it's a 6-figure assignment we're making on a couple of these. Yeah. Just wholesaling it. So.
I mean, tell me about like the demographics. When you break it down, they're like, hey, we want to sell you, I mean, how much is it? $6,000, $10,000 a month?
Yeah, right now I pay $6,000 a month.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's usually everything. I've looked at it a couple times, and it's always been between that $5,000 to $15,000 a month range. So you're dropping 5 G's a month on it. Spent $30,000 on it so far, but you've had a 6-figure wholesale deal, so it pays for the entire year easily, 2 years worth. When are they running the ads, and like who is it being shown to? Is it being shown like in the middle of the night, and it's people who are at home? Is it between, the Judge Judy commercials in the middle of the day? Is it at prime time in between when, I don't know, the news is on and everything else? When is it? And can they tell you who the demographic is that's watching during that time?
Yeah. So I'm actually glad you asked that. So I have a media company. I outsourced it because it's like, why would I try and figure this out myself? Because what I had in mind was I want to be on like sports channels, just like people who you would think be watching more TV at night. It does run 24/7 kind of on. It flip-flops between channels, but Judge Judy, who you're really targeting is your older clientele.
Yeah.
70s, 80s. I do get
because that's what I'm trying to get at is like young demographic typically isn't watching normal like old school TV. We're streaming,
Yep.
And the entrepreneurs, I'm thinking, I'm probably jumping to conclusions, but I'm thinking most entrepreneurs don't watch television either.
I don't have cable.
Yeah,
so,
dude, I don't ever watch television. And so if you wanted to target me, who owns a bunch of commercial real estate, that's not the best way to do it.
Exactly.
But I think for houses, it makes a lot of sense. I think you're going to get way better turn on houses than you ever would on commercial real estate.
Yeah, single family, it makes sense because you're hitting that, like I said, that older demographic, where people are starting to die and they have inherited properties and all, so it makes perfect sense to hit it that way. Commercial, not so much. I mean, commercial, you got to be, like you just said, how am I going to get in contact with you if you're not watching TV and all that? You just got to find a different way.
Yeah. I bet you could raise a lot of money from it, though.
Yeah, probably.
Get a 506C opened up and do like a general solicitation fund, tell people, educate them on hey, I raise capital for this and that. I mean, you might not get sophisticated, accredited investors. I don't know, but maybe you would.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is a good credibility builder. I go out in public. It was like 10 o'clock the one night I'm in Walmart food shopping, and so, hey, you're the guy from TV.
Really?
Yeah, it's happened 3 times now. So.
Wow. Wow. Fascinating, dude. No, that's cool. And then, so what other marketing efforts are you guys using?
Yeah, so we do direct mail as well. We send out direct mail campaigns, and then, like I said, we stopped cold calling, but we're about to build that back out this month. We're starting that again. We're going to get 2 cold callers, hiring acquisitions, VA from the Philippines as well, to start taking all the phone calls, so I have less on my plate and I can start more running a team and backing off, and then bring on people for dispo, help him out on all the back end stuff. So.
So what does your guys' team look like right now?
Yeah, right now it's just me and him. We got rid of all of our cold callers in the Philippines and went a whole different route because we just needed to, we just knew trying to figure it out still.
Yeah.
But now we're building all that back in.
Bro, I fired my whole team at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that bad about it. Cam, everything's figured out now, so you don't have anything to worry about. Cameron.
Yeah, it's just a learning thing. So, but now I got him. We're doing good now. So.
Yeah, that's great, man. And then what are you finding on the dispo side?
So I try to find like 20.
Is it
20
just like just hound dogs salivating nonstop looking for opportunities?
I'm plowing through Facebook, Craigslist ads. Facebook, it's just the groups just going through looking for emails, and like it's getting to the point where like I see the same emails. I'm like, all right, they're on the list, and it's easier than flipping back and forth. But he had like 100 people when he first started. So I started technically back in like September of this year, and like really started helping him and got away from the engineering thing. I took it from 100 people that you had.
So about 6 months ago.
Yeah, about 6 months ago, I took it from 100 people to 2,500 cash buyers. I'm trying to get to 10,000 by the end of this year.
You're dispoing it all through email marketing.
Yeah, just email marketing. That's probably my favorite.
You're not listing anything.
No, nothing like that. Just sending out email templates and that's it. So definitely my favorite way to do it. I know Nick was talking about
what kind of information and what kind of detail are you putting into that email
it's
marketing?
just ARV, the house address, stuff like that. Like I just he makes sure it's under contract, and then he'll send me all the info, and then as soon as I get that info, we just blast it out. Pictures, everything.
How detailed or not detailed are you getting though?
I'm not getting very detailed at all.
So you're giving, hey, here's the home address.
Here's
what your stated ARV is. And here's, are you giving them like a renovation scope?
No, I don't do that at all. No, just send it out. I mean, even the ARV, sometimes I'm like, because I have people that argue it, and then other people are like, oh yeah, that's right on. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not arguing anything anymore. I just send it out as generic as possible.
Would it adversely affect your marketing if you put like the Zestimate on there? And that way you could be like, hey, it's not me coming up with the number, it's Zillow coming up with the number.
Yeah,
but sometimes it's low, sometimes it's high.
The problem you got to think about too is like this is a problem a lot of people don't think about. Everybody has a different exit strategy, and everybody has a different contractors who are going to charge them different prices, and that factors a lot into it. I know people.
Do you put an asking price in there?
Yeah, we'll tell them the asking.
And since we got the 2,500 cash buyers, we've been 30,000 to 60,000 over our asking price on most of the properties that I put out so far.
Holy shit. But I know you got a great point, because some people are going to be buying it as a rental, some people are going to be buying it as an Airbnb, some people are going to be buying it as an owner-occupied, and there's going to be different valuations and different levels of renovation that they're going to put in, depending on what their end use is.
It depends on their buy box criteria. So they'll send me their buy box criteria, and I throw it all in the Excel spreadsheet, so I know exactly who I'm sending it to. Because before it was getting repetitive, where I was sending out stuff and people are like, we're not interested in that. So I try to send only their area, so that way it helps them too, and it lessens the amount of emails they get. So
yeah. And then you guys are going over asking price by 30 to 60 G's. Well, and what's like your target? Are you buying any size house, high end, low end, middle of the road?
Anything that makes sense. I mean, we had a couple.
Only in the Charleston area and New Jersey, or anywhere else?
Charleston, mainly Charleston
all
right
South
now.
Carolina.
We tried in the beginning, and this is kind of what messed us up too, is we were doing the whole state of South Carolina, but there's a lot of stuff out there in the sticks, and just people aren't buying.
Yeah.
So it's just, the market value, even when it's fixed up, they're worth
you don't have to go
50,
anywhere
70 grand.
Outside of here, man.
Yeah, and that's what I realized. So that's why we kind of really figured it out and retightened up, and we're retargeting our marketing now.
There's a lot of big investors around here, and there's plenty of deals for everyone.
Exactly. Man. Yeah, we're just mainly in Charleston right now. All in New Jersey makes sense, because a lot more where we're at, there's a lot less investors. There's a lot more we say we're from South Jersey, but everyone says they're from South Jersey, and they're 2 hours north of where we live. Or we're from. Yeah. So we target all in New Jersey, because it makes more sense, the demographic up there, than down here. Here you definitely need to be more centralized on the cities.
Where the ARVs are
higher.
Actually, around
50.
We look for ARVs like 275 technically to 500, but the closer you are to 500, the easier the properties are to move. And like all of New Jersey is like 500, because we have a zip code thing that we do, and it tells us exactly like the median home price of each zip code throughout the entire state.
Are you getting any retail buyers, like owner occupants, coming in and buying these things cash?
So
or is it almost all investors that you're selling to?
It's almost all investors. We're trying to get like retail buyers where like I'll send people like, hey, if you find someone, like we'll get you a finder's fee, stuff like that. Another thing is, I know, like, controversial, like, some people don't like selling the hedge funds, some do, but they're the ones that if we can get it at 85% retail value, they'll buy it no matter what.
And so you've sold some hedge funds?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've sold 1 or 2 deals. Like he said, we try not to do that because I don't want to give Wall Street the power, but I know if I give them 1 or 2 deals, it's not gonna, they're buying no matter what. People are selling to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not trying to just feed them, but
Yeah. That's interesting, man.
Like the military guys, we'll try and feed those guys because they're moving into the area and they got the money and they VA loans and stuff like that where they're able to buy those retail homes. Because I mean, he's gotten a couple where like there's no work needed whatsoever.
Why do you ever hand these off to like a realtor?
Yeah, we connect with realtors. The problem you got to think about, a lot of these people, the reason you got to think they're not selling it on the MLS, you know, because they're looking for quick cash. So the problem is trying to get them that price that they need quick. It's just sometimes too high of a price point for a regular investor to go buy at 75 cents on the dollar. They wouldn't need to be at like 85 sometimes. So those deals, it's like, all right, an investor's not going to buy this, but let's connect with some realtors and see if they have an end buyer who's coming in and wants it. And then we can try and draw out the buy time over longer than 30 days.
Do you guys ever close on anything?
That way? No.
Ever? You try not to close on anything?
Oh, we try to close everything.
You always assign the contract,
Assign.
right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we try to assign
everything. You don't
everything.
actually ever like close on it yourselves and then just use
Resell
some
it.
transactional funding and then put it back on the market.
We almost did that with one, but the numbers were too tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet. I mean,
that's smart, dude. It kind of creates like a constraint of like, listen, I'm not going to buy anything, right? So I need to structure it properly with the seller. I need to structure it properly with the buyer, and it significantly reduces your risk.
Yeah, I mean, if we have deals that make sense for us to close on and put it right back on the market, we have a buyer who's buying it.
Yeah.
So we don't even need to do that, and we're still going to make about the same return because most of them they're keeping it as a rental property.
You guys ever? Neither of you guys are licensed, right?
No.
Do you have any interest, or how come you've never done that or considered that?
Our dad got his realtor's license a little while back, and then he kind of just let it go wayside. And I don't know, I just don't really have an interest in being a realtor. I just don't see the benefits to it.
Yeah.
Like I think there's more wasted time. Like here, like when we know we're going under a property, we're getting it closed and closing it out. Where like that way you have to do a lot of showings, which that's the other reason why, I mean, not that we wouldn't wholesale things, but we don't wholesale because you have to wait 30 days on the MLS, where this way we know it's closing for sure. And there's no like variables.
Is that the rule here in South Carolina? You have to be on title for 30 days before you can list the property?
No, you can relist it right away.
I mean,
the problem with people qualifying for a loan, so if you have, I believe it's FHA and another one,
the seller
seasoning period. They need a 90-day seasoning period, so we'd have to hold it for 90 days for some people to qualify. So it just makes it a little tougher, and those are the loans everybody wants to use nowadays.
But dude, I'm seeing, like I live over on Isle of Palms, right? So there's not a house on IOP for less than $1.5 million. In Sullivan, there's not a house for less than probably $3 million. And even in Mount Pleasant, like Old Village and stuff, it's cash buyers coming in. Even owner occupants are just cash buyers. They're selling their place up in New Jersey or New York or Boston or wherever, making a bunch of money, and then coming down here with cash and paying, cash prices for some of these deals. So I'm just wondering, I don't know. I guess I'm just, I don't really play in the single family world at all. So it's just fascinating to kind of hear what's going on all the time.
I think those ones are a lot higher end houses, like where they're coming in from up north and paying. Because I mean, I know, like, because we're from up there, the housing up there is so expensive compared to down here. So they come down here and they're like, I can get a house on the water for this price, and they don't care because it's so cheap to them in their mind.
Yeah. No, totally, man. I think that's cool. So I know you guys obviously are part of Legacy Family and have some interest in the commercial side of things. What are you looking for on that front?
On the commercial side?
Yeah.
So our plan we love marketing and acquisitions is easy because you're just acquiring deals. So I would say we're really just looking to start wholesaling the stuff that we don't want multifamily wise, and then keeping what we want. Because I think it's the biggest thing that a lot of people hate to do is marketing, for one, finding their own deals and sourcing them, but it's the most beneficial to your business. It's the bread and butter.
Dude, if you know how to market, everything else falls in place.
Exactly.
Marketing drives revenue. Like that's one of probably the most important things that you can absolutely learn is the marketing process and how to get deals and stuff coming through, and then the closing of those transactions, the sales side of it, if you will. And people just kind of neglect it, They want to focus only on operations and they don't make as much money, or they want to
Yeah.
focus only on, some other shit. They don't make as much money. Like, dude, you got to be able to go out and put the marketing in, have predictable revenue streams in your business. Otherwise, you got these cycles, man, where you're making money, not making money, making money, not making money. Once you put consistent marketing in place, that's when your business becomes consistent. Your revenue becomes consistent. Your income becomes consistent.
I think a big thing with that too is just people understanding is like, oh, I'm putting $6,000 out on marketing right now, and they don't see anything right away, and now they just feel like they're wasting money. But in reality, it's like, you got to look at it as what is the time frame on that return on investment for that type of marketing. Sometimes there's other better ways. You really, if you find a distressed seller or somebody in dire need to sell right now, but you just got to do different types of marketing to target different people.
Yeah, and so I always think about it from like a hunting versus fishing techniques.
Right.
There's both of them, right? Hunting is like you're going out driving for dollars. You're going out dialing for dollars, making phone calls. You're putting direct mail out there, but really that's kind of putting it out there. That's more of a lure. That's more of a fishing technique. Direct mail is, you're going direct, but the reality is you got to wait for them to call you back.
Right. Yeah.
Putting a TV commercial out there is putting it out there, but you're waiting for them to call you back. What are some other strategies, or are there any other strategies that you guys are using that are hunting versus fishing? And which ones are you finding work better, or should you be doing both?
There's like another like Astro model where you take other wholesalers and you JV with them. Not that we're still figuring that piece out. I mean, we're starting to get there. What I don't like about it is there's a lot of confusion because a lot of people aren't upfront about things. Where now you have to, and you're dealing with more people too, which can mess up the deal. So you just have to
daisy
be
chaining.
careful.
Dude, that daisy chaining, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever closed a deal that had multiple wholesalers in the middle of it. I don't think I've ever closed a daisy chain deal before.
It's just like that communication thing. It's like, you get 10 people sitting and you're whispering. It always ends up being different at the end of the thing.
Yep.
So I think the same thing happens when you start.
Everybody who's in the middle wants control and wants to make sure they don't get squeezed out. So then all of a sudden there's like this posturing and this this ego play that comes into the equation, and you're like, dude, and it kills every single deal. At least on the multifamily side. Maybe there have been multiple wholesale, but dude, every time that somebody brings me a deal, if they're not direct to the seller, meaning they have it under contract, or they are the licensed agent of the seller or a partner of the seller, dude, I'm just like, hey, if you put me in direct contact with that person, I'll look at the deal. Otherwise, I'm not looking at the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a deal like that here downtown. Land needs to be torn down. I told the guy, I was like, you told me your name, but you're not coming up as the owner of the properties. Oh yeah, I'm trying to wholesale it. I'm like, okay, so put me in contact.
Yeah, no problem, bro. I'll sign an NDA. I'll sign a non-circumvent agreement. I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. But I'm not negotiating with you to then go negotiate with this guy.
Exactly.
I need to be direct to the seller.
Because I know the numbers. I know what needs to happen to make this work. I have no problem with you making money, but it needs to make sense.
Yeah, totally, dude. And then you can go back and have a conversation if for any reason the seller's not willing to come down off their price or whatever, and see where it goes. But I know 100% of the time it's not friggin' closing if there's multiple people in the middle of it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So on the marketing side, you guys just want to keep on marketing and utilizing that talent in order to then just wholesale off apartments and commercial and just get bigger fees. Is that kind of the game?
Yes. What we don't want to keep, I mean, we have that vision of building out multifamily, buying and holding and keeping, but I know, like, we learned this in Legacy Family. It's like, why would I go buy 20 units when I could go buy 100 units? And the 100 units requires somewhat about the same amount of work as the 20 units to get under contract. Yeah. But you can't justify leaving somebody there full time. So why would I go for 20 units?
You got the scale on the bigger buildings. So is that what you guys are holding out, waiting out for the bigger buildings? Is that kind of the game plan?
Yeah, we're gonna, if it makes sense, like if it's close enough here to Charleston to buy and hold smaller things, then we'll do it. It just really depends on the numbers for that deal, if we'll keep it and then sell it at some point off. I mean, another big thing is, the nice thing is bigger units, we can market farther out and target different cities with texting, cold calling, things like that. Compared to Charleston, we can hit a lot smaller stuff, sell them to build some more capital for us and turn and burn on deals, and then start raising money. And if we need to use our own money to help offset taxes, we can always do that as well.
Yeah. No, I think, well, I want to say two things. First is, I wouldn't forego not doing deals just because they're not 100-unit deals, right?
Yeah.
dude, you can really start building your balance sheet and getting kind of just exercising that muscle, dude. You don't go into the gym and start throwing up fucking 450 on the bench right out of the gate. You know what I mean? You got to go in and work the plates up as you're building more muscle. So same thing with apartment buildings, dude. You got to go and go and buy a 20 unit if you guys come across a good one, right? Don't get in the hood just like start doing deals, but go buy a 20 unit, go buy a 40 unit, go buy a 60 unit, get a couple hundred doors. If you guys can find those kinds of deals and they make sense, dude, take them down. I wouldn't tell you not to do that. Like, I think organically growing, it's a lot easier to raise money on 20 doors than it is to raise money on 200 doors, you know?
Yeah.
So like work that muscle out, because if you come across a 200 unit complex and all of a sudden you got to go and raise money, you've never done it before, dude, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of learning curves that you got to go through in order to be able to go and raise that money and have the posture with the seller and have the posture with the broker and have the posture with your private money lenders and everybody else who's going to be involved in that. So I would go out and make sure that you're like doing deals. That being said, I also love, like, you guys are so focused, right? Like, you guys are really young guys, and a lot of people who are, that I typically find that are really young, want to go out and like be Superman or be Wonder Woman and just go light the world on fire and do everything, you know? Not only in multiple businesses, but like in all facets of that one business. And there's a lot of different variables in our business, right? Somebody's finding the deal, somebody's raising the money, somebody's, handling project management, somebody's handling property management, so asset management, capital management. Like, there's a lot of different moving parts. And you guys are like, we're marketers. Like, that's what we're really focused on, what we're good at. And the beauty of multifamily and commercial real estate is that it's a team sport. Like, you guys can go out, find the deal, and say, hey, listen, I'll bring it to you. Don't pay me a fee. Instead, kick me some equity in the project. Give me 5% or 3% or 10%, depending on how good of a deal it is. And then all of a sudden, you get the cash flow, a portion of the cash flow, without having to do anything else, right? You get a portion of the equity upside. You get a portion of the depreciation, which is going to be really important to offset your active earned income on the wholesale side.
Right.
So it's really key for you guys to start taking that cash and passively investing it in commercial deals, and then wholesaling commercial deals and keeping a percentage of the equity, so that way you can offset your earned income with that depreciation. Because you're in a sweet spot. You're a full-time real estate professional where you can take your active income and offset it with passive losses.
Right.
Most people can't do that. A doctor can't use real estate depreciation in order to offset their doctor income. But because you guys are real estate investors, it's all in the same bucket, and it allows you now to benefit in a way that most other people can't.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I like the focus. I like that you guys are like staying in your lane, dialing that in. You got that abundant mindset of allowing other people to do what they're good at. You guys are going to do what you're good at, and then everybody makes more money. That way,
exactly.
Right? And you guys continue to refine your skills on the deal sourcing side. Whoever you partner with continues to refine their skills on the operations side, right? And so like everybody just gets better at their job, and 1 + 1 = 3.
Exactly.
Right, and everybody makes more money. So that's good, man.
Yeah, I got a question for you, I guess. What would you say is a good sweet spot distance-wise compared to on how big the units are? Like we're home base in Charleston, obviously, so if 20 units right here would make sense, but 2, maybe 5 hours won't make sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't do, I got an Airbnb in Franklin, North Carolina, which is 5 hours from here. And it's a single family house, but it's Airbnb and it generates $250,000 a year in rental income. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I also have a management company in place to handle that.
Right.
So I'm not opposed to you guys like going into other markets. Like I'm in 12 different markets, 12 different states, right? All around the Midwest, the North or the Southeast, and kind of like the Great Plains, Texas, Oklahoma area. And I will say, dude, like, eventually you get a little bit spread out, and I just don't want, it's not that we couldn't handle it, because we have management on site in all those buildings, and then we layer it with third-party management, and then my team jumps on a phone call every week with the whole staff of every single project that we have, and we knock them all out.
Okay.
A call, like a level 10 call. I don't know if you guys are familiar with traction, but hop on like a 15 to 30 minute call and just go through KPIs every single week on every single property to make sure that the needle just continues to move forward. So like there's things that you can do to automate being in different markets. If you're under 100 doors, you got to have third-party management in place, right? And really, dude, management's not where the money's made, especially if you guys, it's not your forte in operations. I would totally hire somebody else who's going to specialize in that, who can do it better than you can do it. But then at the same time, if you plan on buying multiple buildings in that same market, if you bought a 20 unit here, right? And then you bought a 40 unit here, and then you bought an 80 unit here, and they're all within 15 minutes of each other. Dude, all of a sudden you got over 100 doors all in the
one
same
area.
market.
That makes sense,
you know?
yeah.
So you got 140 doors all in the same market, but not any single deal is over 100 doors. But you still have the efficiencies as if you did, right? And so, like that's what we're doing down in, this Charleston, south of here, going down into Savannah, and kind of this coastal South Carolina and Georgia area. I like it because I like to go put my eyeballs on things. For a long time I didn't, but I kind of like being involved, and I think things get managed better if you do have your eyeballs on it, or somebody from your team just shows up every couple of weeks and just walks around and asks questions, you know? There's a book written, I think, in like 1982. Can't remember the author's name, but it's called Management by Walking Around. It's so stupid and so simple, but it's such a profound concept when you think about it. Like, dude, just go and ask fucking questions. Hey,
it's true.
How come there's trash outside? Hey, how come there's nobody? How come the leasing office lights are off and nobody's here from 12 to 2:30? Right? Like, how come you guys aren't working on Saturday mornings, which is the best time to show open houses? Right? Like, dude, just walk around. Ask, hey, how come the trim's falling off the building over here and that's not fixed? Dude, and just by being there and being present, whether that's you or somebody on your team, and asking questions, dude, it's management by walking around, right? It gets shit done.
Just got to play babysitter.
So, dude, I think it's such a simple concept, but if you implement that, again, it doesn't have to be both of you or or either of you anytime, but I like to. I have a bunch of stuff in like Beaufort and Savannah and Hilton Head area and like all around there. And so I go down there every 2 weeks just because I'm local, and it's some fun projects. It's got the island down there and this other mainland property and some other stuff. So like it's kind of a pet project for me too, but I put my eyeballs on the other deals that are going on down there just so they know that I'm paying attention to it. And then they don't neglect your property, right? Because if you don't pay attention to it, dude, shit, nobody's gonna pay attention. So you got to make sure that you're putting your eyeballs on these things. We're kind of firing off and selling a lot of our stuff in other markets in order to just kind of refine North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. We'll go into the panhandle of Florida. But really like those, within about 5 hours of here is really where I want most of my portfolio.
Okay.
My team started moving down here. You guys know Nick Burton, so he just moved down here. I got Cameron down here. I got two. We have in-house construction now. We have in-house property management now. And they're all down in the southeast. So we're just trying to do more stuff around here to have efficiencies in travel and putting our eyeballs on things, and for like quality of life, I guess, for our team and our staff. So that way they're not jumping all around the country.
Okay.
We'll get a jet. We'll just be able to fly into each one of our properties, and we don't have to fly across the country to do that. And so, I think there's something to be said about that. It's not to say like I was in 12 states. I like it better being a little bit more consolidated. I feel like I got more control over it, and it's easier for my team to go and put their eyeballs and stop at 5 different projects in one road trip instead of just seeing one project.
No, definitely. I think that's a big misconception too, because people think like there's not enough deals in certain areas, but there really are. I mean, like for example, like you just said, you're looking at staying in 4 or 5 states, and there's plenty there to buy. You just got to look for it, and people they think, oh, I got to go market the whole country.
Dude, do you realize there are over 700,000 buildings, just apartment buildings, not including any other asset class, not including warehouses or self-storage facilities or mobile home parks or hospitality, hotels, retail, office buildings, not including anything else. Just apartment buildings over 50 units. There's over 700,000 of them. Okay, in the country. You know how many I own? 60.
Exactly.
And I have an FU kind of lifestyle and portfolio and balance sheet, right? Like, you don't need to go light the whole world on fire. And there's plenty of opportunity no matter where you go. You don't need even, like, if you picked up 1 deal a year, 2 deals a year, 4 deals a year for 5 years, you could be in real good shape for the rest of your life and your kids and probably your grandkids' lives, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And have everybody all set up. So, you know, dude, dedicate a season of your life of just putting your head down, working your ass off, and building the portfolio, and you'll be set forever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can go do whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want to, with whoever you want to do it with. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like already we're starting to see it. It's like we travel almost every month.
Yeah.
We're always bouncing all around, and I love it.
Well, you guys have done a great job of like building it in a virtual capacity also, where you have to go out and be there.
Yeah, we do it completely virtual too, the whole process. So.
Do you have somebody go out and take pictures of the houses?
Yeah, so we'll send somebody out, or he'll go out. Just depends on how close it is and condition of the house, stuff like what detail do we really need to sell the property.
Yeah.
Like we had one in Georgia where we just paid the notary to take pictures, and we were just like, would you throw them an extra $50 or something like that?
Yeah, it was an extra $50.
And they took pictures for us, and we were like, all right, cool.
And I'd send them. You got to send these people a criteria, otherwise
for sure, dude.
you're getting 5 pictures. So it's like, this is what I need, but they'll
Picture of
get
every
it.
single room. Take a picture of the ceiling if you see any stains. Take a picture of any windowsills. Underneath, cracks, underneath the house, the garage, anything like that, man. Make sure that you got it all. But, hey, you create that checklist one time, hand it off to them, and all of a sudden, you got a system in place.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And people don't realize, I think, that it can be that simple, right? Like systems and processes and all this other stuff and standard operating procedures. Like, it's as simple as putting a checklist in place for whatever that thing is.
Right.
And just saying, hey, every time you go and do that, here's the checklist, right? Here's what the marketing checklist looks like that we have to do on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a daily basis, you know? And it's just checklists, you know?
No,
People
definitely.
overcomplicate a lot of this stuff. Or it doesn't need to be that complex.
And you can find these people just on Facebook, all the different groups, like random jobs for hire or whatever. Just like, I mean, you just got to vet them and make sure they're good. And then obviously they take pictures and show you everything they're doing. But essentially, you don't even have to be in that state, and you can have someone boots on ground pretty much for $50 from a Facebook ad.
I love it. Love it. So here's what I want to do. I want you guys to go find me some deals locally.
Yeah,
find
definitely.
Me some apartment buildings. Even here in Charleston, I would buy, just because I'm selling a lot of my other stuff out of state, and I'm going to be in acquisition mode big time, Q3, Q4 of this year. So I'm going to have a bunch of my own cash. All my investors are going to have some cash back, plus profits from all these deals that we're selling. And I was on the phone with someone. I got a text message on the way over here. One of my buddies launched a business, has $20 million he needs to deploy between him and his business partner in a business that they started 12 months ago. They're grossing $30 million a month right now. And it's just, dude, the important thing is like staying relevant, right? Staying top of mind for these people, because otherwise he'd be calling somebody else if I wasn't active in the same mastermind that he's in, if I wasn't active on social media, right?
Exactly.
But instead he sends me a text message instead of anyone else and says, hey man, I got 20 million I want to deploy, right? I need depreciation. I don't need any return on investment. I just need depreciation on this. Well, dude, that's a pretty good position to be in, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I got a bunch of money that I'm going to be looking to deploy Q3, Q4. Even here in Charleston, I would do deals as small as $2 million.
Okay.
Preferably bigger. Obviously bigger is better, but just kind of get some deals rolling, man. Start bringing them my way, man. I'll buy them. I'll either pay you guys a fee or give you equity, or we'll come up with some sort of like hybrid. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Most definitely.
So let's make it happen.
Definitely.
Sound good?
Yeah, man.
Well, dude, I'm
Let's
proud
do
of you
it.
guys. You guys are doing a lot of good stuff. I'm excited that you're part of the mastermind, and just excited to like see. I mean, you guys have had a ton of success in just 12, 18 months that you've been doing this. I can't imagine what it's going to look like over the next 24 months. So, congratulations. Keep your heads down. Keep working.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Thanks
Appreciate
a lot,
it.
Tim.
Awesome. Tons of good value out of that. Hopefully you guys understand the importance of just staying in your lane, focusing on the activity, and doubling down on your strengths instead of trying to figure out your weaknesses. You'll make more money by doubling down on your strengths than trying to outsource or work on your weaknesses. I'd rather see you really amplify and become an expert at the things you're good at. So hopefully you got some good takeaways. I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts. Give me a like. Please share this video if you know anybody else who's a young rock star looking to scale up their real estate business or get into real estate. This would be a great episode to share. So until next time, see you on Spill the Beans.